Welcome back to B&G Hockey, where it's always black and gold. We're 2 days away from the start of the regular season for the Boston Bruins, and after all this drama, we finally have a new Jeremy Swayman contract. Let's talk about it. The Bruins signed Swayman to an 8-year contract with a cap hit of $8.25 million per season. This takes up 2 remaining RFA years and 6 UFA seasons. In years 3 through 6, he has a full no-movement clause. In years 7 and 8, he has a 10-team no-trade list. This leaves the Bruins with about $1.96 million in cap space for the rest of the roster. The only guy they have left to sign is Tyler Johnson, who's still currently on a PTO. I would love to see a small deal for him. I think he's looked great in the preseason, and I still think the Bruins' biggest weakness is their scoring depth. So luckily, after this Swayman contract, they still have the money to keep Johnson if they want to, and I would not be surprised if that's announced in the coming days before the season starts. I want to give my thoughts on this contract. Before we get into all that drama and my thoughts on it, let's take a look at the stats. Swayman is a 25-year-old 6'3" goaltender, originally selected in the 4th round of the 2017 draft, 111th overall. Last season, he started 43 games where he had a record of 25, 10, and 8 with 3 shutouts. He also had a goals against average of 2.53 and a save percentage of .916. Last season in the playoffs, he played in 12 games where he had a record of 6-6 with an impressive goals against average of 2.15 and an even more impressive save percentage of .933. His entire career in the NHL, he's 79, 33, and 15 with 12 shutouts. His career goals against average is 2.34 with a career save percentage of .919. This contract has him tied for 5th with Ilya Sorokin as the highest paid goaltenders in the NHL, behind the corpse of Carey Price, Sergei Bobrovsky, Andrei Vasilevsky, and Connor Hellebuyck. Now, I think we can agree, Bob's coming off a Stanley Cup. He might not be as good as Jeremy Swayman, but he's recently won. Vasilevsky and Connor Hellebuyck are arguably the 2 best goaltenders in the entire league. You can throw Shesterkin in there as well. He's up for a contract next, so absolutely he will be in this mix as well. So for now, it seems pretty high for Jeremy Swayman, but this is an 8-year deal. We know the cap is going to continue to go up, and over time, this number will look better and better if Swayman does hit his ceiling. But that's what we're going to talk about next. Jeremy Swayman is yet to be a full-time NHL goaltender. He played behind Tuukka Rask, who was a Vezina caliber goalie, and obviously he split the workload with Linus Ullmark, who ended up winning a Vezina as well. So it's a worrisome at times that even during a pair where he was splitting the workload, he wasn't even the best of the two. But he's still very young and continues to get better and better, and I think he proved himself in this last year's playoff. Now, that being said, I recently watched the documentary he's in. Definitely go check that out if you haven't already. It's fantastic and gives so much depth on Pastrnak and Swayman, so it's really cool to watch from a Bruins fan perspective. But watching that documentary, I had a lot of mixed emotions. It seems like he really ramped up his game to kind of prove himself to the Bruins and earn this next contract. The only thing I'm worried about is, does he still have the same fire inside and the same attitude now that he's already earned the contract? I want him to still bring that passion and bring that fire and continue to get better, even though he knows he's already got his money. Because that does happen sometimes. You see these guys get this big deal and then they don't live up to it. I don't think that's going to be Jeremy Swayman's situation. I will also say he's definitely very passionate about winning and wanting to be the best and wanting to carry his team. So now he's certainly being paid like that. Let's see it from him. And I hope we do. I think he's going to have a really good opportunity to win here. The Bruins have a really great group locked up for a really long time. They got their number 1 center in Elias Lindholm locked up, their best player in David Pastrnak locked up, their stud defenseman in Charlie McAvoy, and the rest of the D-corps for that matter is locked up for many years to come, and now they have their number 1 goaltender. Swayman's also not going to be totally alone. Joonas Korpisalo is not going to be one of those backups that just starts a handful of games against a bad team on the second half of a back-to-back. Korpisalo is going to get some legit starts, and I think he's going to look much better in the Bruins system. I've talked about that in the past during my Korpisalo videos, so I'm really excited to see this duo come into this season. Hopefully Korpisalo can carry the load here a bit while Swayman ramps up for the season, because I am a little concerned about Swayman's start since he's missed so much of camp, but I think he'll be ready to go. He's a guy who stays in shape. He's a guy who continues to look better and better. I just hope now that he has his money, he continues to grow into the goaltender we all expect him to be now that he's being paid like it. So let me know your thoughts. Are you excited that all of this drama is finally over? I do find it kind of funny that it seems like they ended up meeting in the middle where everybody always thought, where the Bruins were lowballing him at 6 and they were going crazy with asks of 9 and 10. I think we all kind of knew this was the number, so I'm happy it ended up working out that way. I just wish the drama didn't have to happen in between. I'm proud of Neely for stirring the pot and getting this done. I'm proud of Swayman for coming back to the table and signing this deal before the season gets going, so it's not a distraction, and we can focus on going all the way to the Stanley Cup. So again, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. What do you think of this contract? Leave that down below. If you're pumped to have Swayman back in the black and gold, make sure to give this video a big like. And if you haven't already, subscribe.